That's Dan and Ruth's pool. Late 80s. That's Vidi from Skull Skates. He was like a team manager. He was really cool. They sent him down. He just hung out with us. We went to, this is Orange County, late 80s, and there was only a few pools left. San Juan. This was Dan and Roots. They had parties at a ledge right there. Christian Asoy ended up pretty much living there for a minute. I mean, it was a crash house, place to get drunk. Dan and Ruth were really cool. They were always building up stuff around the place. It was very cool times for bad times, you know. But it was like anti-company, it seemed like we were all in a back, you know. Let's go to Dan and Ruth's. There would be a water jar, had a ramp, you know. Shit, I'm in and out of going to jail, being homeless. I quit the company. They weren't paying me much and at all, and you know, it was going against the grain, against all my bros from independent. But we all, you know, Olson went to these guys, and I was like, fuck, okay, shit, you left Santa Cruz, okay, well, fuck, I'm right behind you. And I watched where he went. I mean, from afar. It was always an option. This guy, he didn't even really skate. He's a gnarly bass player, guitar player, Johnny Ray. And it was like, you know, okay, they're, you know, doing punk rockers. I mean, that's cool. He's not a contest skater. Look at these boards. Look at the shapes. And that's all I really looked at. I didn't know that guys were going into the companies to, after they skated, they go get a career with the company and they do what the companies are all government, you know, they're all into the triangle and all that shit. I mean, and witchcraft and witchery. And you don't, you know, I wouldn't know. But I mean, these were weird times. But, you know, of course, Vision, they even do an ad with Gator in cuffs and all that shit. Nobody does anything. Now that I know, I mean, I'm on the road all the time. I don't know that the world is really that much of a bunch of fucking geeks. I mean, this is Vision, Gons, even though it's the names. Then Jinx, Marty Jimenez, his nickname's Jinx. So Vision, Gons, let's Jinx. Who? Gator. I mean, it's right there. There you, I mean, if you've been around now, and the best thing is everyone can now go, because I point that out, they go, what are you talking about? And then nobody likes a murderer. And on top of that, nobody looks into the case. The guy's still in prison. And, I mean, what, nobody's punk and gets over the fucking, the whole industry leaves this guy in the dust. That looks a little weird, right? Vision behind it, all these other dead guys, Phillips, that other Papa's guy, all these people around this company. Who Brad Dorfman went Chapter 11 after all this Gator shit because he pretty much sunk any of the independent companies that did business. Dorfman then took out basically any of the real independent companies that weren't fake. You know, they have companies that are umbrella companies that, like, say Santa Cruz will give a guy that used to skate and now he's part of the club, and they'll give him, say the guy will cut his arm off for them. He really do that. Fausto gave a pizza guy the pizza shop at Ermico at the Navy Yards, a pizza shop, okay? And he was one-armed. And Tony Magnuson did his two fingers, okay, for H Street, okay, these two. So to prove his allegiance to the club. And then they always love to say the elevator and all that stuff. But Brad Dorfman pretty much killed all the independent companies and then disappeared Chapter 11, then reappears with me in 2002, and we do the Vision Shoe, go back on the map, and he sells to China within 2 years, or actually to a snowboarder who bought Airwalk and another company, and then he sold to China. This looked punk rock to me. So I went to Skull Skates. They were cool, but we just drank and talked about, let's get me killed. And that's pretty much the only way I could get any money out of anyone, was like, hey, let's go to a graveyard and let's kill me. Or let's have me jump off a roof into a building. I mean, so it ends up being this real weird witchcraft, witchy poo, punk rock meets heavy metal, when I totally gave my life to punk rock. This guy totally lived his life. Bill Danforth imitating me. Jason Jesse imitating me. I mean, there's a bunch of them, but nobody says nothing about it. And I mean, I think a lot of it went along with the sarcasm. I mean, these were operations. These are all government people. So, I mean, how deep do you want to go? And then how much can I say to you people Without this guy's from Sacramento. When I lived there in '82, he was a kid and he became a very good skateboarder. But you know, Joe Lopes had his ramp, and he's just a local. Ricky Windsor, these are all guys I skated with every day. Pat Stratford was one of the people from Tales of Terror to punk rock and skateboarding. You know, so you know, this guy, the guy who did my board right here. You know, he's a multi-millionaire. He's in the industry, Todd Swank, you know, and how it goes. And every one of these guys that were in the industry, I just wish them well. Look, this is guys from Texas. Jim Murphy's from fucking New York. I think it was Cherry Hill, anyway. Fred Smith, all these. Dave Duncan, Texas. These people all work in the industry, all joined the industry. Chris Cook didn't even skate. Met him in 1980, San Francisco. John Gibson, I saw him for the first time with Alba, 1982, Texas trip. 5 guys in a fucking Camaro go to Texas. You know, Zorlak, we met them all when we went there. Skullskate, CCCP, total communists. I mean, but we think it's cool because it looks, and we don't really think, because we're dumb skateboarders, and that's how it rolls. And if you don't play the dumb skateboarder game, you're out. This guy, he gets a phone call from Novak or somebody, whoever he works for, and he sets me up with the manager that ends up killing Jay. You know, because Jay ends up getting that manager. This guy totally fucked us over. It's a great rock and roll swindle. Laughing about it. Spidey, what a bro. These were all supposed to be my bros. These are the younger guys that all came in and got to basically take over. This was my son's Wee Boy. Before Wee Man, there was Wee Boy. This was my son who's dead. This is his first board. You know, hey, back then I'd be like, no, they're not saying nothing about that. But, you know, I was raised by the CIA, and hey, Dwayne, stop acting like the whole world's against you. And they were. So, who knows? You can't say that, though. And the dragon. Now we're in the year of the, let's see, is it going to pull up? The year of the snake. For sure. Believe it or not, nobody would ever know. The year of the snake. That old triangle, right? It's a good book. I could use some help. Sell it for $100. You ever ride the top 8 wheelers? They're harder than shit to ride. That's why I thought to ride them for that long. Because you gotta ride on one side or the other. And in between walls on vert, you gotta hop. You know, and then when you eat it, it's just because it turns out on you. But a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know a lot of stuff. Like even the dirt board. Like I invented a pivot that turns, that has grooves in it. And if you use the dirt board with a pivot, because dirtboarding was around from Action Mountain Sports, I used my brain. I was on probation. I even brought the template to, it had 5 grooves in it, so you could slow down hitting your, you know, put, you know, your tail and then turn, you know, and that was the ticket in the dirtboarding thing. Nobody wanted to touch it when I was doing the dirtboard, and then a year later they do a contest and I watched it, Thrasher, and nobody had a tail plate, nobody had suspend or sky hooks on. They're all just like greener than grass. A couple guys had like moto wheels, but that was about as far as they went. Nobody asked me, like, fuck, dude, how come you got that tail template? But it's all right. Social Distortion. He stole my first bass player, Brent Lyles, came to my house after we had a party at Big O. TSOL played, these guys played, Olsen's band played, my band played, Cooler Than Shit the Sharks, at the skate park, and then we had a party at my house at Kirkwood Street. Mike Ness comes back over the next day because I had a garage with a studio in it, and he's in my studio. I go, Dad, who's in my fucking studio? Oh, that guy Mike Ness, he's trying out your bass player. So that's when I knew, whose side are you on, motherfucker? And I at another contest, he was like, yeah, I know Eddie. And he shouldn't have known any of these people. And that's how my life went. Like, how do you know this guy? And then that's how they blow it. But it takes years and years. Then he stole Johnny Two Bags. I mean, Mike Ness. And then Two Bags kills Dennis Donnell, who was born 12 days after me, June 24th, 1961. Then they kill Brent Lyles. he gets ran over. Fucking, and then everything's cool. Johnny joins, and then Chuck Briggs gets killed. There's so much death around my life, and I'm not supposed to be able to yell about it, or no one will buy any of my shit. That's what I'm dealing with right now. But I tell you guys too much because you weren't around, but you want to act like you were. And you know this guy because you've been Facebook friends for fucking 20 years. Do you think that Christian Asoy is really a Christian? Christ Air? Are we still going with that? Do you guys still think Cab? All these guys, whenever they were called the God Squad, they came and rescued Jay the last time he was fucked up and had to kick. It was like, I went to go try and find him. But no, the God Squad got him. That's how it was going in our world. You had the Bible Bowl, all this weird shit. So, you know, it's been a weird ride, wondering who's on whose side or the other. But it's looking like pretty much they've cleaned out everybody that was on my side. So I'm just hoping that there's anyone cool out there that might want to know what the fuck is going on, what's true and what's not. But there's just too much to tell. You know, it's the industry against me, pretty much. I mean, it's pretty outrageous, but I'm the only one. I know everybody in that industry, and they would have been my friend by now. They're all on that side because they all want a paycheck. I haven't had a paycheck in 10 years, over 10 years. And I'd really, they tried to sabotage my life every which way but lose. You know, lose a fair race. Anyway, I appreciate any help. And I'll sell this book for a couple $100, $150. Hit me up. Thank you.